Evening, Manchester United fans. Welcome along to Forever United TV. I am Adam, and tonight we have got loads of news to get through for you, from transfer speculation, players definitely confirmed back from injury and playing on grass, huge investment into Manchester United Stadium and how the new stadium is going to be built as well, and news to bring you from that as well. All of your live comments, everything from you and your input into the show. As always, we are interactive. We're a little bit earlier tonight because I am going to be doing a watch along on a Big Up tonight, so please do get involved in that. I will give you the information at the back end of the show on how to join if you haven't already, but if you are a fan of Big Up and my other platform that I do other content on, then please do come and join me. We're going to have, I wouldn't say a laugh for England, but look, we'll enjoy it anyway. It's been a while since I've done an England watch along, so I thought, you know what, let's do one tonight as a bit of a mix-up. But first of all, more importantly, you want your Manchester United news. You want your news right now in front of you. You want putting up in the know and bringing fully up to date as to what is going on. And do you know what? There's a lot of positives around tonight. There's quite a few. Actually, not through the day, there's been plenty of positives for Manchester United. And this is what I want to get my teeth into right now and talk about, because Manchester United are making moves. Ruben Amorim, he's laying out his stall and getting everything prepared, ready for the summer. United have different options, as we know, in terms of where we finish in the league, what we're competing in next season, and there seems to be a very, very obvious target for Manchester United right now. And thankfully for me, I've asked this question many a times on many a shows: what is the key position for Manchester United? Where do we need to invest the majority of our money? It is looking like that is going to be in the striker department, and that's where we're starting tonight, everybody, because Dusan Vlahovic and Victor Osimhen are both on Manchester United's list of transfer targets and striker targets this summer. Notably, both of them vastly experienced, goals galore in both of these players, and more importantly, both in the last year of their contracts at the end of this season, with both clubs, both in Italy, looking to sell. Now that tells you something, and there is a definite coincidence in there, is there not? That it's two top Italian clubs looking to move their forwards on, their key biggest forwards on this summer. United are into both of them and are ready to pounce on both of these. Let's get through these stories and get your input on this. I'm already seeing positive comments in the live section about Vlahovic, an option. Should we start with Vlahovic, actually? I think we need to start with Vlahovic in terms of where we're actually looking at striker-wise and why we're talking about Vlahovic. Now, in fact, I think, actually, no, let's just start it off with Victor Osimhen being the number one target. That is where United wants to go. We spoke about that earlier on. And we all know that Ruben Amorim is well and truly got his feelers out and wants that top-notch striker. And Osimhen is the obvious. He's gettable for United. He's affordable for Manchester United. Experienced enough to bring into a vastly inexperienced Manchester United squad, going off what we're being linked with this summer as well. And it looks like he is keen on the move also without European football, like we reported this morning. So Osimhen is there. He is number one, but he has got many suitors, and there are plenty of clubs vying for his services and obviously want him in their side this summer. So looking at him, yes, let's see what we can do. Past that, Dusan Vlahovic. Manchester United have been in and out and linked with Vlahovic on a few different occasions right now. The stumbling block for Vlahovic always throughout the transfer years has been his massive wages that he's on at Juventus. Juventus reluctant to sell him because of the value that they're getting for him, but there is no new contract on the table. Heading into the last year of his contract, it could be another one of them big players at just the age of 26, if he doesn't sign for anybody this summer, going for free the year after. They cannot afford to let that happen. There isn't as much money in the Italian league in Serie A. Yes, they're vying for the Champions League places, but they're still cut adrift, Juventus, and they're behind. Motta is behind his old club, Bologna, in fact, in the chase for Champions League places right now. So, as it stands, Juventus might not be able to fund their summer without letting go of big players. Now, Yilmaz, we talked about the other day as well, the young Turkish forward, the dynamic new superstar coming out of Turkey, and we talked about him and why Juventus might be actually selling him this summer to fund their rebuild under Motta. But what you're also looking at now is the likes of Vlahovic, who have got 1 year left. He isn't going to hang around. Juventus can't afford to give him anywhere near an upgrade on his contract. I'm not willing, in fact, to give him a new deal anyway. They have to sell. Juventus have to sell this summer. Napoli have to sell this summer. These players are going to be on the market. And don't get me wrong, look, I am in the realms of reality right now. I understand that it isn't just Manchester United. Every time a new player comes on the market or is available, it isn't just one club looking at him and it looks easy for United. It's not. We're competing with the biggest clubs in the world for some of the best strikers. But like I said at the top of the show, does it not show ambition that we're actually going for top strikers? Because that's an area of the pitch that United have really not looked at properly over the last 2 transfer windows at least. You could even argue 3 if you wanted to. And we are miles behind right now in terms of quality up front. And we all know this as United fans. And this is an area of the pitch that United need to rectify, I think, above everything else. And I've been banging this drum all through the season and going into this summer transfer window, even into January. If there was a player there, which is why I was pushing on that Osimhen story in January, you go out and you make it happen because you would have bought Osimhen in the summer anyway. So if that deal was able to be made in December, in January, get it done. But clearly it wasn't. Osimhen wanted to stay in Galatasaray. But that shows the importance of where Manchester United are at and where the money needs to be spent this summer. It has to be a striker and then it has to be a goalkeeper. More on that in a moment, actually, because there is updates on that. So, a complete update on where we're actually at right now is that Ruben Amorim and Manchester United's recruitment team do have Vlahovic on their list of possible candidates to come in. It does look like we are looking and prioritising the experienced striker of the certain age. Now, 24, 25, I think 24 to 26 is United's cut-off when it comes to spending big money on a player. We heard the story from The Athletic about Victor Gyökeres, for instance, who is going to turn 27 starting into next season, and Manchester United didn't want to spend the 60-odd million on a player turning 27. Vlahovic and both Osimhen, both 25, going into 26, only a year younger, but I think that there is a deal to be had on Vlahovic, which is why he's on the list. He is that different type of player to both Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen for Manchester United. He isn't, I don't think, as quick, not as mobile, but he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. I think he sits at around about 6'3", brilliant in the air, strong, Champions League proven as well, with goals this season in the Champions League phase for Juventus. I think he even scored against Manchester City, in fact. I think it was him who scored in that game anyway. But obviously experienced and some. And that's what Manchester United need right now. They need someone to help them younger forwards out. And that target man, and someone you know is where he's going to be, like Vlahovic, I think fits Manchester United right now. Negotiations will hit that stumbling block of wages. I'm sure they will. But obviously, Vlahovic knows he's going to have to come down in wages. Look, he jumped onto that gravy train and got somehow that mega deal that he got at Juventus and that contract. It's absolutely ridiculous, the money that the man is on at Juventus. But the reality will come where he knows he's moving on and he's not going to get the same amount of money. Now, it's up to him to then prove himself again going forward into the next club to maybe get that next big deal. But I feel like this is going to be a massive one for him, and he needs to decide on his next club very, very carefully, just like Osimhen, because this probably is their last big move in a way, unless United, obviously with not having Champions League football, put a release clause into their contract, whereas, I've said this many times as well, whereas if we're not back in European football within 2 seasons, they are able to go for a certain price to another club that is, or something around that sort of ilk in terms of contracts and what could possibly be a get out for them if they aren't successful at United. Look, I fully expect United to be, and I'm not saying this just boldly and arrogantly because I'm a United fan. I feel like United will be back in Europe if we don't get in this season. That is through the Europa League into the Champions League within the season after. Anyway, I think we will qualify for some form of European football next season as well. So Looking at that, I think Manchester United can go out and really bid for these players in the transfer window and give them a real option going forward. The beauty that we've got is that there is so many forwards right now. When you're looking at Osimhen, you're looking at Vlahovic, you're looking at Jonathan David. All three of them are top targets, and United are actively watching all of these players, as we know from multiple reports now. I think this is a sign of where Manchester United are at. Definitely relevant in the transfer market, unlike some would have you believe. But I think Manchester United and where we're at is a priority list. And the priority list is we have got money. We are confident in moving players on. After the Sancho story this morning, the story came out again, like we have been saying along with this. Actually, in fact, I do need to touch on some of the people who were commenting on the Jadon Sancho video and having a go at me, actually, about dealing with everything and getting all of the facts in place. If you watch the actual video instead of looking at the title and listen to the video, then you would understand that all the facts were laid out. The situation is that there is no news yet on this 5 million get out for Chelsea in the Jadon Sancho situation of that obligated loan deal that they're in right now. There's no news of that happening. It is still going ahead that Chelsea will have Sancho at the end of the season. All we're saying is there is an option out for Chelsea and they can bail if they want to pay this fee. And that was the story this morning. And I think Manchester United cocked up with that in not getting something more secure. And that was the point this morning. So all the facts were laid out. I questioned it. I brought it into a debate show and some people had an issue. But the numbers are real. The wages are real. The deal with the clause and everything like that is all real. So anybody who just looked at titles and wanted to have a go, I'm sorry. You're completely wrong on where you're at. Everything was in the video. But like we said earlier on, Manchester United looking to move players out and Sancho one of them players to make room for players coming in. And these strikers that we're looking at right now are of the top level and are 20 times better than what we've got right now. No disrespect to the one striker that we've got, which is Rasmus Højlund, but we know that he needs someone next to him to learn from. And I would take any one of them three for him to learn with, that being David, Osimhen and Vlahovic. You let me know what you think in the chat in terms of who you would go for. If United are willing to spend 63 million, that's the top amount that we would pay, which we are willing to pay for Victor Osimhen. Which one of these strikers would you go for, knowing where the budget is going to go? Would you save all of the money off a striker and go for Jonathan David? Would you go for Vlahovic instead of Osimhen? Does he fit the system better? Do you think that that's the better option for Ruben Ball? Or do you think, like Ruben apparently has said, Victor Osimhen is number one target and exactly where Manchester United need to be going? Let me know in the comment section, because that's where I'm coming next. Let's get your involvement in this show, everybody. Please do give the video a like. Make sure that you have obviously subscribed to Forever United TV so you can get involved in the actual chat as well. Quickly, though, before we move on to the comment section, I just wanted to give a big shout out to our sponsors tonight, who are going to be carrying across onto the watch along, who are Match Bingo. Get downloading the app now via the link in the chat and the QR code bottom right corner of the screen. Grab your card for the England game tonight. Join me. Get 5 events in a row, win. Get 2 lines in a row and win. Get all of the 15 events and get the jackpot. Up to 250 quid is on offer tonight, everybody. Get involved with me on Match Bingo and our sponsors of the game day. We're bringing an extra one in tonight because it's England, and I haven't done an England watch along for a while. So thank you again to Match Bingo. Download that QR code. Download the link in the live chat right now and join me on Big Up tonight. I will, before the end of the show, give you the link to Big Up. It is actually in the description as well if you want to come and join us for the watch along and get involved there. Come on and have a chat with me. We're going to be opening up the lines while the game is on. So if you want to have a chat with me while the game is being played tonight on Big Up, come over and have your say. And on that, let's get into the chat and see what everybody is saying about these strikers that Manchester United are being linked with right now. Let's have a look. Let's scroll right up to the top here and see what everybody is saying. Adam, I would take them, but any of them would do a job for us. Yeah, they would do a job for us. Prefer Osimhen. Not convinced by Vlahovic's scoring record. In terms of Vlahovic and where he's at, let's say, for instance, this season, he's got 4 goals in the Champions League, 1 in the Italian Cup, and 9 in Serie A. So he's got a total of 14 goals this season and 2 assists. It's not been a great season for Juventus. Like I said, they're still in 5th. and struggling for qualification for the Champions League. Obviously, being knocked out of the Champions League already by PSV, and now obviously trying to chase down the top 4 places in Serie A, then you're looking at them being in a bit of trouble. But still, what do you look at 16 goal involvements for Dusan Vlahovic this season? Very, very decent, let's just say. But yeah, he's got a few goals in the Champions League this season, so he's scoring at the highest level. And I think when you look at that, is that what you want? I think it all depends on the actual price, doesn't it? I mean, market value for Vlahovic at the moment is 60 million euros. So you're talking the realms of 50 plus, maybe. But 1 year left on his contract definitely doesn't read 60 million euros. This is based off market value and where he's at right now and the numbers that he's putting up. For instance, let's have a look at Vlahovic from last season in terms of his numbers there. And what he got last season. Decent again, 18 goals, 3 assists. So he's on track to improve from last season and what he got. 21 goal involvements last season. Did have a few injury issues last year, though. Only 38 games played. Is that a warning sign for you? Were you a bit concerned with his injury record and what he had last season? Not too many, but obviously missed out on a couple of games. I think he's missed 5 or 6 games through injury and a couple through suspension last season. So it's still not too bad. But yeah, I get the concern with Vlahovic and some people in terms of the goal scoring. He's a different type of striker, though. And we're looking for a striker that would actually suit the Ruben Amorim system and then take them chances. If you're going to have wide players consistently putting balls into the box, this is a out-and-out centre-forward who's never played in any other position in his whole career. He is your typical number 9, fox-in-the-box type of player. Whether or not he's got the qualities that you think Manchester United need, that's the debate right now and what we're talking about. So, let's get a few more comments on this one. See where we got. Even Adam and all, sorry I'm late. You're not late, realist. You're in here now and that's all that matters, buddy. Let's just see where we're at. A few more. Quite a lot of people having their own little conversations going on right now. If we do start signing quality players this summer, we will fall if we do not start signing quality players this summer, we will fall further and further behind the top 6. Finding a few cheap players is good, but we need to buy players who are performing now. Yep, ready made. Surely we should go out and buy both Vlahovic and Osimhen. We can't get both of them. If anything, I think Jonathan David and one of the other, because Jonathan David is free, and that obviously hits the mark for Manchester United in all areas, doesn't it? I spend more in Asda, Sainsbury's on Guinness than I do in the Boozer. Great comment to pick up on there. Well said, Glenn. Well said, Gray, on that one. He's getting ready for the night, actually, watching a fantastic game of football, which is going to be England v Latvia. Vlahovic is kind of slow, and his salary will be the highest in the club for sure. Well, that depends. If United are going for these players, then obviously they have to fit the salary cap and what Manchester United can afford. That is going to be the issue all along. And I do believe that if they are looking at Vlahovic, they're going to have to get right into the deep negotiation territory with him, because there's no way that he's going to be anywhere near the money that he's on right now. And that is a definite. Ineos and the board management who does all the work, and the Glazer doesn't even do any work. No, that's what happens when you own something. You employ people to run it for you, to make the money for you. That's just business, I'm afraid, buddy. Let's face it, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, all after a striker in the summer. I don't think City are, to be honest. They got Mamouche and Haaland, and it all depends on what Liverpool do with Mo Salah as well. And Chelsea, yes, you could say that they are looking for one. Arsenal definitely need one. It depends where we go, but they can't have all of them, can they? And there is quite a few out there right now in the market. So let's just see how Manchester United fare when it comes to the window, when it opens. But I'm confident. I'm looking at this and I'm going, we are moving in the right direction. Everything depends solely on players leaving Manchester United, as we know. But I feel like we will get the players out of the door that are necessary. Looking at what deals we've already done, in moving players on that we didn't think were going to move, I think we've got a good chance this summer. I really do think we have got a good chance. With players getting towards the back end of their contracts at United as well, I think it's easier for the club to move the players on to balance the PSR books. So, yeah, really interesting on that one. I do want to talk about other players that could possibly be coming into Manchester United and the other news. Now, there is news on Jarrad Branthwaite and his situation at Chelsea again. We kind of shut this one down the other day, but the update on him is the fact and the sheer fact that he is not in the England setup right now. Is why he's looking at his future and won't sign for Everton. I think he's still got 2 years left to run on his deal, and he's not looking to sign any new deal at Everton simply because he wants to look elsewhere. He wants to be playing Champions League. He wants to be in the England fold. And at Everton, it looks like he's not going to be part of that World Cup squad. And that is where a lot of players are going to be looking at what is going on in the transfer market this summer. This summer is going to be huge because of the World Cup, and players will be looking at their places in international squads, where they're actually at, needing to make moves to get involved in what is going to be one of the biggest World Cups in history, according to Trump that is anyway, and how much the US government is ploughing into this World Cup. But you think about it, all of these international players that have fallen out of favour with their countries and are not featuring, they're going to be looking for moves when the summer comes around. And they're going to be looking for the best fitting clubs to showcase what they can do. Look at Anthony, for instance. There's no way that he is not going to move somewhere else. He's gone because he's not going to play at Manchester United. Rashford's not going to play at Manchester United. Sancho's not going to play. Casemiro, I don't even know if he's bothered about internationals anymore. Christian Eriksen, well, we know that he's going to get picked for Denmark anyway, no matter what. But all of these players are going to need the right amount of game time to be picked for their countries and be part of that World Cup. So everybody and every agent right now of every player is on high alert for any possible clubs that could be looking to take their players. So that's what I think is going to drive the transfer window this summer as well. The fact that there is a huge World Cup the summer after, and they need to be in position, ready to go and impressing going into that World Cup. So let's just see what happens from there, because, like we said, this is the last window before that World Cup. Yes, of course, the summer of the World Cup in 2026 is another window, but by then it'll be too late. You have to be playing consistent football to be in these squads. And if you're not going to get picked. So this is the window where it all happens. So let's see what comes about from that one as well. Just to keep you all up to date, if you have joined us a little bit later, we started early tonight because I'm going to be doing a watch-along on Big Up for the England-Latvia game. We're going to be doing that from 7:30 over on Big Up. I'll drop the link in before the show finishes. But yes, we talked about Vlahovic, we talked about Osimhen, transfer targets, striker targets, United's priority, and Ruben knows he needs to be buying in a decent quality striker, and it does look like we're moving towards that. We just touched on Jarrad Branthwaite and his situation. Another player that Manchester United are apparently going to test another club for is a former player at Sporting for Ruben Amorim, in Francisco Trincao. He is the versatile attacking midfielder, you could say. Plays on the right, plays anchor, plays in a few different positions, predominantly on the right. And obviously, if he's played for Amorim before, he will be comfortable in one of them in the right role at 10 or possibly the other side. But he is a player that is full of goals and creation. In fact, he's got 24 goal involvements this season. And the report is Manchester United could be readying a bid of approximately 30 million for the youngster. He is actually 25, not a youngster. So again, a little bit more experienced players. So we're starting to see stories of more experienced players coming through, and not just the younger players that United are looking at this summer. We're getting a lot more news on not the better, but the ones that you know can just fit straight into a side, that you're not worried about it just being potential. There's actually quality there. Just the names alone tonight that we've mentioned already, in terms of Osimhen, Vlahovic, and now Trincao at Sporting, who have been playing at the top and the highest level for a few years now. That's the type of player that I think every United fan was worrying we weren't going to be going for this summer. And it does look like we are going to be involved in the market this summer for players like this now. So I think that's music to a lot of fans' ears. But talk to me about these players. Get into the chats. Let me know your thoughts on it. Trincao is outstanding, says Amir. in capital letters with a flame even. Now that is saying something. By the way, everyone, let's get up to that 200 live like mark, please. We're over 150 already. Not far to go. Keep them likes coming in. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. A few of you already have done that. Let's see. Osimhen lost all his superpowers when he took his mask off. He needs to put it back on, Stu. Richard says, I have to say, I watched the second half of America vs Canada last night. Jonathan David scored a great goal, but his work rate was fantastic. I've been saying this constantly, Richard, week in, week out on the show. His work rate is phenomenal, and that is what he has always been known for. And now he started to add consistent goal scoring to his resume, and that is gold. And a free transfer, you pay him his 200 grand a week wages for what he's accomplished already in his career. That's the type of striker that you pay big money for in terms of transfer fee and wage. You can get away with a transfer fee this summer and just put him on a decent wage and make him feel welcome. You go out and make it happen. He's a brilliant player. And he was talking openly after the game. He's going to make the right choice that sits and fits with him. I was sent the video and the clip from a Manchester United supporter over in Canada earlier on today. Tim, who's been on the show quite a bit in the Montreal Manchester United Supporters Club, was watching the game. He sent me the clips. He sent me the interview after the game. He was talking with Henry and Dempsey in the gantry box, and he was talking openly about his future and where he sees himself playing in the new season. And he just said quite openly, look, I'm going to make the right move that suits me. I'm not going to rush it. It has to be the right football club. And that's where you sort of look at him and go, right, okay, he's got his head screwed on, at least. He's not going to jump to just anyone because of a certain name. You could say that's a problem for United because that's what you would be hoping that he would do. But no, I think there is going to be a big involvement from Ruben Amorim when this transfer window opens. And we're going to see a massive input from our manager. I think that's what we're going to be looking at going into this window. He is going to have a say on a lot. He's not going to have the full say, but still, we are going to see a lot more from Ruben, I feel, in his influence within this structure and what is going to happen with recruitment this summer. Jonathan David, just go above and beyond and make that deal happen. Honestly, if he is the only striker that turns out to be available for us, then you move heaven and earth to try and get him in and make him welcome. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to be moving over to a big up for the watch along after this show as well, everybody. So I'm just going to put this up in the chat right now. One of our mods has just dropped it in there. We have got a poll running right now as well, everyone. Which player would you prefer at United? Osimhen or Vlahovic? Osimhen is taking the vote by 82%. Kind of expected that, to be honest. I really did. But let me know what you think about Trincao. Do you even know who he is? You have to watch and be a real connoisseur of football to be in the know about every single player Manchester United are linked to. And this is what I've said this before. This is where I want this recruitment team to be working overtime. I want this team to be finding players that we know about, but we wouldn't think that United will be looking at. Players we don't know anything about. Players being uncovered. Finding deals and making them happen for Manchester United is important, I feel. And I want our club to be surprising us when the transfer window opens. I want to be hearing about players we don't know too much about, but mixed in with the obvious, the ones that we know we desperately need. Jonathan is in the chat. We can't be out of European football and bottom half of the league while paying 200k per week salary. It's going to have a lot. It's going to be a lot less, but some bonus built in. Look, this bonus is built in now to a lot of these players' contracts. And this is how Manchester United look. We don't need to worry about what Man United are going to be paying these players wage-wise. I don't think we need to worry about it at all anymore. We don't even need to be concerned with the after effect of a really bad contract like we are talking, like Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Casemiro, Eriksen, all of these deals. With Mason Mount, players being paid absolute fortunes for mediocrity, let's just say that. I don't think that's ever going to come about again. I cannot see it at all. I can't see it happening. I don't think it will happen. Simply because Manchester United, with this new structure, are a completely different animal altogether. And I don't see how we are going to be overpaying for anybody. We are cutting every single corner possible, and players are not going to get away with this anymore. Modern Samurai's in the chat. He likes Trincao as well. He said he's amazing. Trincao is brilliant. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here right now. Billy says, Adam, if Osimhen's release clause is over 16 million up front, United will have to pay more over a few years. I can't see them paying that amount up front. What do you think? No one will pay that amount up front, mate. No one. And you're right, it will be in installments, Billy. Where maybe something similar to what we did with Joshua Zirkzee, to make the yearly payments more affordable, pay a little bit more on the transfer fee. It's like anything, isn't it? If you pay cash up front for a car, you get it cheap. If you want to put it on finance, you spread it out over a longer period, bit of interest, and obviously they're going to bump the price up a little bit because they want their money as quickly as possible. So if they're going to have to wait a little bit longer for it, inevitably the price will go up. And that's maybe what Manchester United need right now. The longer-term financing suits their system and what they've got in place right now, of what we should say, what we're actually dealing with from before and all of the mishaps from yesteryear. That may be the best option for Manchester United right now. So let's just see how it pans out. Let's see how it pans out. Trincao will be too expensive, I think. I don't know. I don't know. The reported fee is around 30 million. I don't think that's too dear. It depends, doesn't it? Let's see how it develops. But again, just a player that sort of player that Man United are looking at, I think gives us confidence that we are looking in the right areas and the direction in which the recruitment is going is the right one. Look, please do give the video a like, everybody. We're nearly at the 200 live like mark. Keep them likes coming in. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. Make sure you do join us for the watch along later. If you want to talk United, you can come and have a call in with me on Big Up. We have things on Big Up and different tools that we can use there that you cannot get here on YouTube. So we're going over there after the show. We're kickstarting that around about 7:30 this evening, everybody. So make sure that you come over and have a conversation with me, have a chat while we're watching the England game, and we'll talk everything. We're on Rashford watch tonight as well because for some reason he is making back-to-back starts under Thomas Tuchel, which is very strange, especially after Tuchel's comments the other day about him not really doing enough for him. Interesting one, very, very interesting one. But yeah, we've pretty much covered most of the Manchester United news in terms of recruitment coming in and so on. Samuel Luckhurst of the MEN has been saying that there's 10 first-team players that will be leaving Manchester United this summer. The second pre-season in a row where United will be hitting double figures for first-team players leaving their playing staff. Now, obviously, when we think about 10, let's just go through them right now. Let's go Rashford, Antony, Eriksen, Heaton, Evans, Lindelof, Casemiro. That's 7. Who am I missing, everybody? Who am I missing out of that one? Sancho, you could say, because he's on United staff for them up. So there's 8 already. Who else are we looking at here right now? First team playing staff. You could look at the likes of, there's an argument over Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund right now. Maybe Mainu or Garnacho. There could be a couple of surprises, like I've said. So yeah, let's just keep our eyes close on that one. But yeah, fully expect there to be at least 10 players leaving Manchester United this summer. Whether that be some academy players, whether that be some first team players right now, the obvious ones anyway. For anyone interested in the England lineup tonight as well, not much difference. Pickford in goal, Reece James starts for the first time in God knows how long. Declan Rice plays, Konza is in, Gehi's in, Harry Kane, Bellingham, Rashford, Rodgers, Bowen, Lewis Skelly. Lots of young quality England players in there as well with a bit of experience. Fully expect them to beat Latvia tonight, but we will see, won't we? And we'll have it covered for you on Big Up as well. So make sure that you do come over and join us for the watch along. Again, I'll keep on plugging it and promoting it because it is brilliant and it is great how we can get people on and involved in the show as well. So if you haven't already, it's completely free. Of course, head over, the link is in the live chat right now, everybody. Okay, let's see. A lot of you put in, yes, Malacia, sorry, was one of the players as well. A good shout there from, is that Renami? I think it is Renami, isn't it? Yeah. Some backhanders going on there. Yeah, maybe. Plenty leaving. I think I've covered all of the players there from what you're saying as well. We have seen glimpses of a player in Xerxes would give him another season. I agree, Jonathan. I do. I think Xerxes deserves that second season that most players have had because he hasn't been given the chance that every other Manchester United player has. I think he's just been thrown into the mix of a absolute carnage-run football team and football club at the moment, and he's finding his feet. I think he will have an impact this season, Xerxes. I think he definitely will play his part. Let's see what else we've got. Chris Wood, Harry Kane are slow. It would have around. Who would you have around your striker that counts? Sure, we might be talking to someone else on that one there. Sorry about that. Those 8+ players will need replacing. There goes a large chunk of United's already reduced transfer pot. Not really. When you look at it, Lindelof, Aiden Heaven, Evans, Mazraoui back into the back three because we're going to have someone on the right-hand side as a wing-back. So there's your 2 centre-backs covered straight away. Who else are we talking about? Ericsson? Are we talking possibly someone like we've just said there, in a player coming in a 10 role or an 8 role that we've just been talking about? I don't think we're overly concerned about Malacia, are we? Are we really concerned about Casemiro? We could have Kone coming through. We could be buying another one anyway. So the players that we're saying need replacing, we've got academy players coming through as well. And we have actually already got players arriving in the summer in the likes of Diego Leon also. If United go out and buy 3 or 4 players, I think that more than covers what we've already got there that's leaving Manchester United. Because let's be honest, what is Lindelof doing and offering? What is Heaton doing and offering? Malacia, Anthony right now. We're playing without Anthony, Rashford and Malacia already this season. And we've still got loads of numbers. So no, I disagree with that one. I think United have got ample cover. And if we buy a few players and we are diligent in the transfer market this summer, then I think we'll be all right. I do. I would give Xerxes an extension. An extension? Still not convinced yet. You mean as in not a contract extension? You mean as like give him a bit more time? But could be better. Trouble is, it depends what players walk through the door next season. Could end up being phased out. We see, could be a squad player. Anyway, let's move on to the last bit of news that we want to talk about as well. Manchester United are confident already about funding the new stadium. The talk is that Manchester United actually feel like they have already attracted interest in the new stadium and the build. The report says Manchester United have already generated interest in naming rights for the proposed new 100,000-seater stadium, with confidence of landing a world record deal. Some of the club's current sponsors have already tabled their intention to bid for it, in the knowledge that it would require a benchmark fee. So in terms of figures and benchmark fees and what the story is talking about there on Sky, is, as for instance, the SoFi Stadium in LA, I think, generated $400 million for the naming rights for that stadium over a certain period of time, obviously. But if you think it's going to be a world record bid and it's going to be a benchmark fee, you've got to be talking, what, over $500 million? Maybe? 500 million? Which would pretty much finance a quarter of the build if it's going to be 2 billion. That would be quite substantial. United very, very confident about this. Again, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, who have they already spoken to? And is there something already in the offing for Manchester United and this new stadium? Is there something there that we don't actually know about already? That's what you've got to say. Like, Snapdragon could easily come in. Like, Snapdragon have earned millions off Manchester United and being part of Manchester United already. There was a story on that not too long ago. They would be all too willing to put their name on the biggest stadium in England and one of the biggest in Europe right now, which is going to host a mass events. Can you imagine the prospects of what naming rights to a new stadium that Manchester United are playing in. 100,000 seater stadium, which is going to host everything from football to boxing to NFL, I'm guessing, to every single sort of concert, and your name's all over it. Yeah, this is going to be massive for somebody, and I think United knew that this was coming. And this is where we're finding out how clever business is going to be done when it comes to financing Manchester United and everything that's actually going to happen when it comes to this stadium and now it gets off the ground. If they get wind of someone wanting to put their name on it and get something in principle, you expect this to start moving forward very, very quickly. With what we heard from the government the other day as well, and where they're at, and looking forward and being impatient to get this project off the ground in terms of the regeneration of the area as well, you can expect this to start to really, really move forward. And yeah, I do believe that there is definite prospects there for this to move forward now, and we can start seeing some plans probably start to develop going forward in terms of timescales, I think, more than anything else. But that is quite substantial. That's quite substantial when it comes to news, and it could be anyone. It could be bleeding anyone. Like, if you're smart about this, then you're going to be front and centre advertisements for some of the biggest sporting events and concerts on the planet in one of the biggest stadiums in the world, which it is, a 100,000 seater. It's going to be absolutely huge for somebody to come in and put their name all over this. But yeah, this is where we're at right now, and this is how United are playing this off. So that's the update on the stadium side of things. The Amazon Arena for 500 million. Who would you think? Like, ping up some names for me. Let's get a little bit creative with the naming rights for this new stadium. Who do you think would come in and put a bid on this? We've already had Amazon, the Amazon Arena. Have we got any more clever names to top that one? Let me know, everybody. Talk to me in the chat. Who have we got? Who are you thinking? Trinity Trafford says Stu. Come on, let's get adventurous with it. Talk to me. Apple. It's like an Apple type of building, isn't it? Google, anyone? Maybe? Apple Pot. I like that one, Solomon. Apple Pot is a good one. The Red Bull Red Devil Stadium. Oh, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? It's too much, too many words. SpaceX Stadium. Musk, yeah. Red Trafford. They've got to have the business name in the title as well. It's a status thing and a huge goodwill advertising. It doesn't really matter about Champions League, though. It's a big benefit. It's the reach worldwide, consistent advertising for the company. That's what they look at and be creative. You bang on the money with that there. That's what all of these big companies look at. It's their name left, right, and centre. It is about status. It is about being there forefront at the biggest and the best that there is. Fergie Field. Tesla Space Stadium. Trump Trafford. That's a good one, Pete. Trump Trafford. Can't see that one happening anyway. But yeah, that pretty much finishes our show tonight, everybody. I'm going to take a little break now, and then we're going to be over on Big Up. There is a link in the live chat right now. Jump over to Big Up, completely free, everybody. Please do sign up as well so you can get involved in the chat. That also is free. You can just come along and watch anyway and be part of it. But you can call in. You can have a chat with me. We're going to do all of that on Big Up starting at 7:30 this evening, everybody. So I'm going to take a break now, go get myself a drink, get ready for the game. England versus Latvia. We are live watch along from 7:30, everybody. All that's left for me to say is, again, thank you, everybody. Absolutely brilliant. Welcome all new members. Hello. That was gifted by London to Morgan as well. Thank you. Mods as well for helping out in the chat. Have a fantastic evening. Hope to see you all on Big Up very soon. Well, we're just going to continue the conversation and have a good old whale of a time over on Big Up, everybody. But for now, here on FUTV, thanks, everyone. I'll